Okay, so here we are with another video. What's it? Today's Friday, right? Yeah, today's Friday. Um, so this was sent in to me by a watcher, and there was a YouTube clip about a fatherless son's open ups to his mother for what I don't know what this shit is. For what? What does he open up? That's not even gonna open. Well, anyway, fatherless son opens up to his mother. Pretty much, he doesn't have a dad and he doesn't know what to do. And let's just be honest about it. Look, she don't know what to do with him because she's a woman, and I'm not trying to like bash situation, but it's the reality of the situation. He doesn't have a man in his life or any positive role model, so he's just, there's no telling where his brain may end up. Well, you never know with any child, but especially when there's no father around to kind of put some type of consistent fucking boundaries and morals and shit into him. Like, you really have no idea what's getting ready to come out, like, at all. So anyway, this is a 4 minute long clip. I'm gonna let it play the first time through. Then I'm gonna go through and go over what I think about it. So here we go.
My son's father and I were together off and on for about 10 years. But when I realized that I was suffering and my children were suffering, I decided that it was time for us to move on. The guilt is very, very heavy. I worry about my oldest son the most. He's dealing with so many emotions and he doesn't know how to cope with them, so he's shut down. When I ask him about his father, he just says, I don't care. I don't care. I don't want to talk about him. I don't care. I worry about the rejection that he feels. I worry that every time he has to experience some type of rejection, it's going to take him back to that place. It's been very difficult to watch my child basically fall apart.
Tanya and her oldest son, 17-year-old LJ, are here. So how do you feel? What are you're feeling right now? Stand up if you don't mind. Yeah. LJ? She said you were shut down. You don't seem shut down to us.
No, not at all.
I do tend to shut down just because when you're young, you feel like when you're young and I guess fatherless, you feel like you have to protect. I feel like I have to protect her. So showing my emotions because she does so much and she has so much on her plate. I feel like if I was worried or if I was angry, then I would just add more to her plate and I would just be a burden.
Mama, leave him. Sorry.
And I know that she does so much, so I want to cause little stress.
You don't want her to see you being vulnerable,
right,
or to really know how you feel.
Right, and I want to protect her.
That would hurt her.
Right.
But you made that up. That you're sharing with your mom your authentic experience would hurt her. You made that up. Right, Mom?
Yes.
Yeah.
I want to know how he feels.
Why? Why? Why do you want to know how he feels?
Because I'm his mom. I need to know what he's going through so that I can help.
Maybe you can't help because the hole in his soul, the size of his father, you have nothing to do about that. So what would you like your mom to know about how you feel about not having a dad that you've never been able to tell her? Turn to your mom because she wants to know. Look at your mom and tell her.
Well, growing up, it hurt a lot knowing that you were the only ones at my basketball games. And when other people's father would tell me, congratulations,
Read, Mama.
my father wouldn't tell me congratulations because he wasn't even there. And you took that time and effort to always be there for me. And growing up, I did feel rejected. I felt like it was my fault that you two weren't speaking. And now that I'm a bit older, I do, sad to say, I feel a bit more sad for my little brother now that, because I don't want him to feel the same way I feel.
Take a breath. And what is it that you want your dad to know about you that he missed? What do you want him to know about you?
That I'm growing up and I think that you can't make up for lost time. And the way he can show me that he really wants to be a father is to be there for my little brother.
Okay, take a breath. So I want to point out two things here. First of all, she survived. Look at her. She ain't dead. Right? And Mom, he was able to share with you authentically, stand in his truth, and you didn't have to save him. Can you see that? Okay, now you can hug your mama.
Okay, so first off, I want to say this shit, man. See, that being a grunt. See, bitches don't know. This is why you do not take being a man advice from bitches, because bitches just don't know. Okay, they just don't know. Do never take advice from a woman about anything that sounds like it could be advice on how to be a man. Do not listen to women about it ever, ever. See, that full-grown man shit, see, he's still a kid. I mean, the motherfucker's probably twice my size. But mentally, that is a fucking child. This dude, this man, oh, well, that is a child. He has the physical structure of a man, but that is a fucking child because he's not saying anything that he actually wants to say, and he's still following mommy around. You see, that full-grown, and I'm not bashing him because you can't get mad at the kid because the kid is just blameless. The kid was just brought into the world and got, dealt the cards he or she was dealt, and then they just got to keep living. So I'm not saying be mad at him. I'm just saying my own personal brutal reality opinion on it. Okay, he's a fucking child. Okay, that becoming a full-grown man mentality shit. That shit doesn't start kicking in for most men until about around 25, 26, 27. Like where like that next level of mental growth starts to kick in, and now you got to start accepting consequences and benefits for every action. You see, that's the difference between men and women. See, when men become full motherfucking grown in the world, we have to acknowledge every benefit along with every consequence that comes along. Like I'll go back to that situation on Bicentennial Man where he wanted to be free. There's consequences to freedom, you see. And when you're a full-grown man, that's when you start to see this shit. Like, no matter what you choose, there's going to be a plus and there's going to be a minus to it. No matter what. If you're going to give a truly, adult, educated, whether in the real world or formally educated, whatever the fuck, the only way you can give a proper assessment of anything is if you can is if you can deep down, like, where there's always going to be a plus and there's always going to be a minus in it, somewhere in it. And women don't ever have to come to that because somebody's in developed countries and more in the more developed countries, like they never have to see the world like they just, I just want everything to be happy and I just want it my way, and if you don't tell me what I want to hear, I'll just go hear from someone else. Like they never have to deal with many consequences because somebody's always going to come hand them something because they want to fuck them. You see what I'm saying? So that was the first thing I want to touch on. So let's go back to the beginning, and I'm going to stop where I feel like, I should interject my red pill knowledge. But first, before I do that, I want to also acknowledge this part. Like I say in many videos, most cases, when a father is not around the kids, it's usually one of the two situations. But usually, I'm going to lead with the number one highest from all the people who I know of and spoke to and blah 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 who had baby mamas here and there. The number one reason why men usually leave the family is because the mother was so fucked up and crazy, she ran him off. So anything that had to do with her name attached to anything, he's not going anywhere near that. Because she was so fucked up, she ran him off. Now, and in the other situation, why this usually happens is because the woman, usually what happens is the woman pretty much tried to trap a man by having a child with him, knowing he wouldn't stay and type shit. Those are the two most common situations. Now, there are situations where like a woman gets with a guy, They had, they get a house together and they get 2 kids, and then the dude gets hooked on crystal meth, and the woman just has to leave. And she has the proof of his, cease and desist, and how he had to get arrested, and she had like the pictures of her face fucked up and shit. Like, and even then, like, it's still a case by case scenario. Maybe she was triggering that shit in him. You never know. But for the most part, it's usually the one or two that I stated earlier. So we're gonna go back and listen to this shit, and I'll stop when I feel like stopping.
My son's father and I were together off and on for about 10 years. But when I realized that I was suffering and my children were suffering, I decided that it was time for us to move on.
See, yeah. Now with that line right there, usually, see, the reason why it took her 10 years to come to this realization is because she realized that either her time was already ran out or is running out to go find, if she had a chance to go find another, decent man real quick to come and swoop in and take care of him, which we see it ran out of time because she doesn't have a new man because he grew up without a male in his life. Because why did it take 10 years for this shit to happen? Because I find that mighty odd when I guarantee you she knew within 10 seconds how to get a nice guy away from her. I guarantee you see, this is why I do not feel sorry. I don't feel sorry for at least 95% of women. Don't get me wrong, I might like one's body or something like that, but don't ever feel sorry for them. Like, I went through abuse See, they always happen to stay in abusive relationships for years. But they can't remember a nice guy's name 15 minutes after they met him. See, this is why you don't feel sorry for them. You never feel sorry for them, ever. She knew, like, women could smell on you if you're a nice guy or if you're a dude who might bounce her or some shit like that. They know, okay? They're not dumb in that regard. They know exactly the ones. With them 2 or 3 sentences max, they know which ones are going to be which. Because they've dealt with many more men at much earlier ages than men have dealt with women. They know. Don't feel sorry for them, man. Do not feel sorry for her. Because just as fast as she picked that guy who was whooping her ass and got hooked on drugs, she turned down 18 decent guys the week before to hook up with him. Never feel sorry for women. Don't do it. Because when they want you to feel sorry for them, it's a coincidence. They're only telling their side of it. Of when they got, because it's always about them. They're not telling the side of I talked to Derek and Derek bought me flowers and roses and I just kind of liked him, but I don't know, he was just too nice. Anyway, he doesn't exist. He's not human anymore. It's all about me. And then they go off and, and end up in this situation. So don't feel sorry for him, man. Don't feel for every bad boy that ran through her when she was younger, there was at least 20 other guys who was trying to wife her up and take care of her. So these are her choices. Don't feel sorry for her.
The guilt is very, very heavy.
Because the only reason they want you to feel sorry for them is one, because they've gotten older and they're not getting anywhere near the amount of attention. So and then two, they might actually want you to feel sorry for them because for the core reason being, they know that they can't go back out there and get something else again. You see, Sofia Vergara ain't sitting up begging for you to feel. So yeah, from Modern Family, that bitch, Sophia, that Spanish bitch, I can't even do her accent. Oh, it's just Keating. That girl, she ain't bitches like that. They ain't looking for no damn sympathy unless they realize their career is coming to an end. Then it's Me Too. That Rose McGowan, Me Too. That's when all that shit started. They didn't see, as long as they were winning as women, they're not looking for any sympathy. Do the math. Go back, look at any fucking woman you can find. Find me one who was looking for sympathy, who was legitimately beautiful and was winning as woman. You won't find it because they don't give a fuck until they end up like this. And I'm not trying to bash her, but I'm speaking of women in general.
I worry about my oldest son the most. He's dealing with so many emotions and he doesn't know how to cope with them, so he's shut down. When I ask him about his father, he just says, I don't care. I don't want to talk about him.
Why are you asking him about his father? Why aren't you going out and trying to get your father to come back and talk to him? Why are you like as if he knows his father more than you do? This is like you ask women these questions. Don't let women just talk and paint up this portrait of a perfect victim case and then just follow her. That's the dumbest thing you can do. That would be like going in a courtroom and just letting one lawyer tell the one story for his one person, and you assume a whole fucking hearing off of what one attorney drew up to make it look like. This fucking madness. And they just it's crazy. Like, we ain't heard nothing from him. And you probably won't, because if I had to guess, she was probably so fucking crazy, he don't want anything to do with her. Like, fuck it. He's like, look, just take the child support money, just get away. Just get away. We ain't heard nothing. You see what I'm saying?
I worry about the rejection that he feels.
Oh, of course.
I worry that.
Yeah, and from his perspective, he has every right to feel that way. He has every right to, because from the child's perspective, the child, he don't know. He was just born into the world, and he's just dealing with the cards he's dealt. So from his perspective, yeah, I agree with him. Yeah, from his perspective, yeah, he has every right to feel abandoned, discarded, left out. Wanting a positive male role model in his life. There's nothing wrong with him in this. The problem is with her. Okay, why did you pick this man to put babies in you? What that alone right there. Ask the women these questions. She ain't being asked one question other than, well, how much did it hurt you? To further her victim mentality. There's no actual question. Well, why did you pick him as a partner? Well, if he was abusive, why did you stay with him? Why did you have more children with him? Why are you off and on? Why did you make these decisions that would impact another life? You see, ask these women the questions. Don't let women sit up and paint a whole portrait and you just follow it. Because they're going to paint it to make them be the fucking to be the victim. Of course she did nothing wrong. She was as far as we know, she did nothing wrong. She was a perfect little angel who graciously worshipped the ground her man walked on. Worshipped the ground her man walked on. Did all her wifely duties and was a perfect woman. And he just came home and said, "You dumb bitch, cook dinner hotter next time." Oh my God, Sean, I'm just trying to be a pleasant wife. Oh, That's how she'll paint it. Every time, especially when you put like what she did, which I was going to touch on next. She brought the motherfucker around in a room full of more bitches to talk to a man, to talk to a growing boy about a man who's supposed to be in his 3, 2, 1. 1, 2, 3. What the heck is bothering me? Almost lost it there. You gotta love women. Like, this is why you gotta, because like you gotta love them. You gotta love them because it's so pathetically bad to watch them sort through any mess in life, unless it's the mess of them trying to get fucked again. Anything else is like it's a comedy show. Like, you can't make this up.
Every time he has to experience some type of rejection, it's going to take him back to that place. It's been very difficult to watch my child basically fall apart.
Well, sweetie, you should have thought about that when you was getting raw dogged by bad boy Sean, who was in and out your life whenever he felt like it. That you should have thought about that. Make better decisions. See, Oprah, y'all bitches, man, look. Stop fucking making this a big fucking sympathy, because all you doing is enabling bitches to keep making these same dumbass decisions, and the cycle just keeps continuing, because then they'll get a spot on Oprah. Oh, I faced so much adversity, and I succumbed to it all, but I rose above it. All you, Oprah, Ellen's. No, I don't think Ellen don't do that. I don't watch a lot of these bitches, man. But Oprah, stop. Don't play this fucking music. Bring the bitches on and question them in front of an audience. Why did you make this decision? Why did you choose to fuck bad boy Shad and and Tyrone, and now these innocent lives here got to suffer the consequences from your poor decision making. And had that bitch up there crying to set an example for all the women after her to not be like that. Because there's nothing. Something. Oh, he left me. I'm so sad. You know, it was a hard life, and I talk to my mother sometimes. Stop fucking doing that shit, man. Like, make that shit what it is. It's fucked up. Show how their house is dirty all the goddamn time. Show how she behind on bills. Show them welfare checks she's getting. Show all that shit and don't glorify that shit. Show what it really is to these younger girls to stop that fucking cycle.
Tanya and her oldest son, 17-year-old LJ, are here. So, how do you feel? What you're feeling right now? Stand up if you don't mind.
Look, and took him around a room full of other bitches. Look, it ain't a man in that audience you can see. Because this is what woman, she don't know nothing. She don't know nothing but to sit down and please somebody and try to manipulate. And that's what all the bitches, when he start talking, watch that, they gonna start manipulating him and have him say what fuels the interview. Oh yeah, blame the father, because coincidentally the father's not there. And now, that's the most important part. Ask the mother why the father isn't there. And ask deep, intricate questions of why he would not want to be. Most men who I've ever heard of who had baby mamas, they want to be around their kids. Like, they will go out, like men will kidnap their own kids to get the kid away from the mother and all types of shit. But see, like, when the man don't want to be around the mother, like, that's usually a huge red flag, man. That's a huge red flag. Huge red flag.
She said you were shut down. You don't seem shut down to us. No, not at all.
I do tend to shut down just because when you're young, you feel like when you're young and I guess fatherless, you feel like you have to protect. I feel like I have to protect her. So showing my emotions because she does so much and she has so much on her plate. I feel like if I was worried or if I was angry, then I would just add more to her plate.
Okay, and real quick, I want to tell you this, man. I want to tell you this, too. See, the reason why he feels like she has so much on her plate is because woman instinctively wants man to take care of her. It don't matter if it's her son, her nephew, her uncle, her brother. Like, woman instinctively wants. So she's going to give these little, like, subtle hints or subtle things that's going to trigger that in him as man to want to protect his mother who can't take care of herself. You see, because I grew up with a single father because my mom died when I was 14. So I grew up with a single father. And I never felt like I had to protect my dad. Because my dad knows how to protect himself. I never, not one time felt like I had. I mean, don't get me wrong. I want to help out. Like when I was in college, man, I used to drive down to my dad's house and take him out for dinner, take him out for breakfast, and then go to church with him. Or I would just take him out to go eat after church. Like sometimes I don't wake up that early. So like I would like after church I would go to church while church was going on, go sit with him, and then take him out for dinner afterwards type of shit. But I never felt like, oh, my dad has so much on his plate. No. Yeah, because I'll share a quick story with y'all right now, and I shared this story with y'all a while back. I remember when my mom had first died, right? And it wasn't long after she had died, and my dad came into my room. I was playing video games because I've always loved video games. He actually got me on video games, but he doesn't like play them like because when I was a kid he bought a Nintendo and he could play Mario, but it never really stuck with him, but it like stuck with me. So that's why and I've always loved video games ever since. But anyway, back to the story. Not long after my mother died, he came in the room with me and sat down on the bed, which I thought was kind of weird because he never did that before. And and he said, well, you know, the things gonna be a little tight around here, you know, financially, because your mother just died, blah blah blah. You know, that's a whole other income that's just gone like that. And then he goes, well, wait a minute, you don't even ask for anything anyway, so you ain't even gonna notice. And just left, because I never felt like he needed, you know, like because he's a man. See, God, this fucking water bottles made that pop sound. But yeah, he's a fucking man. Like he's not. I mean, he's gonna like just tighten his belt straps and take it. But see his mother, she probably didn't even realize she did it. But see, mother, I guarantee she gave little tidbits and tried to leave something out to like infer that she needs some help from him. This is what I say so many times. When women get in positions of leadership, everybody ends up frustrated, angry, distraught, and fucked up. It's just women do not make good leaders, man. Period. Because deep down a woman wants a leader to lead her, and then she just hops on and pleases that leader. That's what they all want. Okay, even when they try to play that tough girl role, oh, I'm working on my own money, girl. I gotta see, because that is nothing. She's trying to imitate being a man because she thinks that's what she wants, but that's not what she wants biologically.
I would just be a burden.
Mama, leave him. Sorry.
And I know that she does so much, so I want to cause little stress.
You don't want her to see you being vulnerable,
right,
or to really know how you feel.
Right, and I want to protect her.
That would hurt her.
Right.
But you made that up. That you sharing with your mom your authentic experience would hurt her. You made that up. Right, Mom?
Yes.
Yeah.
I want to know how he feels.
Why? Why do you want to know how he feels?
Because I'm his mom. I need to know what he's going through. So
she wants to know what he feels because that's what women do. They emotion shit, but she don't know how to direct him to be a proper man. Because and I also want to say this about his daddy. Let's be real about it. If his daddy was such a stand-up fucking guy and doing all this shit like that, they would have went on about that daddy. If the father had been like legitimately successful and shit like that, they would have had a whole segment. Well, Roy Jennings, he worked at fucking WB Studios as a studio director, and he was such a great guy. What made him leave the family? You see, they would have got, but they can't do that. How much you want to bet he was just some motherfucker, just tossing nuts in her and then bouncing on her. And and then she, got intoxicated by the fact that the daddy probably knew how to leave her. Let's be real about it. Because how much you want to bet if he had been successful and done some shit with his life, or he was like, Sean Jacobs, military sergeant. He did this and did that, and he had all his accomplishments. Why would he leave the family? And then they would have had all types of reasons to fucking go off on him in a room full of bitches. Then they can't do that. I want to bet it was a bad boy dude, in the neighborhood, pumped her up full of babies and bounced on her, and now she's sitting up stuck with kids and a dead end life. I'm willing to bet that. I could be wrong, but it's all adding up to that point. Because if he was worth some shit, if he was worth some shit, she would have been talking about him a little bit more.
Help. Maybe you can't help because the hole in his soul, the size of his father, you have nothing to do about that. So what would you like your mom to know about how you feel about not having a dad that you've never been able to tell her? Turn to your mom because she wants to know. Look at your mom and tell her.
Well, growing up, it hurt a lot knowing that you were the only ones at my basketball games. And when other people's father would tell me congratulations,
Read, Mama.
my father wouldn't tell me congratulations because he wasn't even there. And
see, he's a kid, man. He's a child because he don't know how to think about it the whole way through. Other guys, dads were there, and they told me how to be. They told me good job when my dad wasn't there. See, because he don't know how to turn that shit around. Ask your mother why your father wasn't there. Why your father isn't coming around. Ask her these questions. She knows. She's not going to tell you the real answer, but at least you're going to flip that script on her to take it off of just ragging on the dad. Ask her, why did she make the decision to meet him? Ask her these questions. See, now, because the mother loves this. The mother and other single mothers, they love shit like this. Because now they know they got the man's brain programmed and vilifying the other man now. See, bitches love shit like this. And bitches know how to watch men and watch when they have your brain programmed into thinking some way that's going to work for them. And they'll ride that shit out. They will ride that shit out.
You took that time and effort to always be there for me. And growing up, I did feel rejected. I felt like it was my fault that you two weren't speaking. And now that I'm a bit older, I do, sad to say, I feel a bit more sad for my little brother now that, because I don't want him to feel the same way I feel.
Take a breath. And what is it that you want your dad to know about you that he missed? What do you want him to know about you?
See, like I said, they keep trying to. Your dad knows that he missed. Okay, why don't you do this? Miss Lady in the blue dress, why did you hook up with this man who left you off and on for 10 years? How about you try that? Because that's the core of the problem. Now, from his perspective, I guess from his perspective, he just feels left out, neglected, blah, blah, blah. Because that's all he's ever seen and known, you see. But you know, grown-ass men know what this shit is, all right? Most of the time. Now, like, there are cases where the dude probably was just whooping her ass and shit like that. It doesn't happen a lot, but there are cases where like the dude was just genuinely like a bad seed. It totally does happen. I'm not saying it doesn't happen. It does happen, but it doesn't happen as much as women would lead you on to believe it happens, because it definitely doesn't.
That I'm growing up, and I think that you can't make up for lost time. And the way he can show me that he really wants to be a father is to be there for my little brother.
Okay, take a breath. So I want to point out two things here. First of all, she survived. Look at her. She ain't dead. Right? And Mom, he was able to share with you authentically, stand in his truth, and you didn't have to save him. Can you see that? Okay, now you can hug your mama.
That shit, man, like I said, that being a grown, see, because bitches don't know. Bitches don't know anything about what it takes to be a man, what it takes to, you know, the mental struggles of being a man and maintaining a man. They don't know. Don't listen to them, all right? Because, see, this dude, he's probably about 15, 16, some shit like that. He just doesn't even know, see, guys hit different stages of growth. First, it's like, you know, oh, I'm 18 now, so I'm legally a man, but I'm still a child for real. And then about like 25, 26, 27, you start to take like another turn of like, oh, wait a minute, I gotta start making some legit decisions and shit like that. Then around between 30 and 35, you start to go, okay, this is what I want my life to be, and I'm gonna make it this type of shit. See, bitches, they stop growing around 12 or 13, and they just kind of end up growing tits and ass, and you know, now they got to like be in the world and shit like that. And then the rest of their life is built off of trying to find a qualified leader to follow and then just please him. That's why that's why women excel so much at being secretaries, fucking waitresses, you know, nurses. Shit. That's why women usually excel a little more than men do, because it's their natural place to be in that position. You see. But yeah, man, like, so he's got a whole next. You know how many times I've heard a story about a dude grew up with a single mother, and like by the time he's like 30, he's just so like he's either like either his emotions are just completely out of whack, or he has none of that independent like dominant drive in the world, or like it's always like some type of like you can always sense it. Like, because I remember when I was younger, man, like. I can always, like, I started connecting the dots on which one of my friends who grew up with women and how they acted with women and how they acted in the world versus how many guys grew up with, usually like a woman and a man, with a man in their life. And you can see it, like you can smell it all, like just how they would dress, how they would walk and talk and shit, or how quickly emotional they'd get. Like, you can see it in them, man. Like, you really could. Like, well, I could. And I'm not saying anything, like, because like I said, as the kid, you don't have any say-so in it. You just got to deal with this. And luckily, we got YouTube and RedPill to, like, educate young men who did happen to grow up with a single mother. And now they can see, like, where they was going wrong at. They was believing this because their mother was just, you know, telling them bullshit to keep them happy and smiling. You know, telling them fairy tale shit. you know, like now we got the internet to spread knowledge and to teach other men this shit. But like back when I was younger, like the internet, like YouTube was nowhere near as big as it is now. So like we didn't have like, you know, if it was around, it was pretty much deemed like propaganda bullshit. Like, you know, like fucking like damn, I don't want to say like devil worshiper shit, but it was damn near like down there. If a guy ever talked like that, either he was super dominant and comfortable and was on shit like the Man Show. I don't know if y'all remember the Man Show, on shit like that, where they had a whole segment with just bitches jumping on trampolines and bouncing their tits and shit. And that was a TV show. Jimmy Kimmel started on there. If y'all remember that shit, y'all know Jimmy Kimmel now. Jimmy Kimmel started if Jimmy Kimmel, if that shit came back out like widespread, like Jimmy Kimmel would be ruined, because Jimmy Kimmel started out like more of a misogynist than I ever would have been. Like what they would call misogyny. Because that was like they was doing some gangster shit back then. But like either you was like that, or I mean, you were really just a complete fucking creepy weirdo dude. It was like one of the two. Like now it's kind of a little more normalized, because you know thoughts became more normalized, and we got OnlyFans, Instagram, and people are starting to call out other people. So it's a little more normal. It's a little more. It's going to become completely normal in the future, but it's getting more normalized now. But anyway, that's the video. Thank you for everybody who watched. Yeah, I'm still working on getting the ending credits and the introduction working right, man. Cause fucking this iPhone, I tried to do it in iMovie, but my iMovie's fucked up on it. I'm trying to extract it, but it says my iCloud is full, which is not full, so I don't know what the fuck is going on. But anyway, also the ebook club, Patreon merchandise. You see that shit on the side, right? What's this? Right there. See all that shit? Patreon, ebook club, merchandise, all that shit. It's all good shit. Go for it, man. I'm out. Have a good weekend. Peace out.